Thrilled to be joined here on TESPN Media Days with head football coach Sam Mickens. Coach Mickens, my first question to you is, knowing that feeling of being the hunted as a defending state champion, of course I'm sure you're telling your guys to continue to focus on every day and getting better, but they're still high school athletes. So how do you keep that focus when you've already accomplished, been to the mountaintop?
I've had this question at least 3 or 4 times, and I answered the same way. We really haven't done anything. We were 8-3 a year ago, lost to one of our biggest rivals by over 30 points, and obviously had 2 more losses on the season. So until we reach the standard that we achieve or that we set for ourselves, then we're not satisfied. I'm definitely not satisfied. They shouldn't be, and that's something that we've preached with this group, for the last 4 years, but especially after this season, right? And they started working really in November. They haven't stopped all the way through, and I just don't see them becoming complacent.
So what's your biggest challenge? When you have a team that's obviously loaded with experience and talent, what would you describe as your biggest challenge on the daily?
Performing. It's you can get wrapped up in the scholarship offers and what people are saying about you, and I think Bill Gates has a quote, right? He says that success is a menace, right? Because it fools smart people into thinking that they can't lose. I think it goes something like that. But that's really part of it, right? That you can't let up, right? We say you have to stay hot and be able to keep yourself going and motivating yourself. And I think that's the biggest thing, is to kind of stay hot and keep working to our standards.
And then just in terms of when you look at football, you always think of sort of the 3 phases of the game: offense, defense, special teams. We know that defense returns most of the starters from last year. Offensively, the long-term quarterback, who feels like been here forever, did finally move on and is playing at the next level. And then also with special teams, he did a fair amount of the kicking, Jack Toscano, of course. So just as you evaluate each unit, what do you see as, I guess, strengths but also challenges?
The challenge is replacing Jack. He will be a large void within the kicking game.
And same with TESPN.
That's right. And, we have J.D. Stebhagen, who's returning, and he's doing a great job, getting himself up to speed to take over those duties. But it's hard to replace. He had a lot of hidden yardage. Offensively, Tegan is going to step in at quarterback, and fortunately or unfortunately last year he did get an opportunity to get in some big games and get some experience. And then defensively, obviously, we have a really talented, group that is experienced and returned pretty much all the starters.
And then for, big Titan football fans, if you watched our podcast, if you watched our broadcast, there's a bunch of, at this point, almost household names that I don't want to start saying them and worry I'll forget one. But everybody kind of knows who, those guys are. I'd love to hear who, for our fans, maybe is someone who either is new or emerging or has made big strides since last year, that is someone that you're just really excited about adding to the mix.
Jay Williams. He was here a year ago, but dynamic player. Really worked hard this offseason to transform his body and become a full-time linebacker. He's a really good one. We had a family move in from Philadelphia, 2 brothers, and one's Talik Montgomery. Very solid, just a great kid, and is also a good player. And obviously John Brooks, who we don't really talk about a lot when you talk about that big group or that core defensive unit, but John Brooks could be one of our best defensive players.
And then finally, you have so many great leaders on this team. I've heard some coaches say, there's no such thing as too many leaders, but others sometimes say, you don't want too many cooks in the kitchen. So, how do you balance having a bunch of dudes who embrace that role, but also keeping it so it almost doesn't become too many voices at once?
Yeah, well, that kind of takes care of itself. I'll leave it at that. Practices are intense. There are times where, those personalities clash, let's just say it that way. But they always find a way to bring it back together, and everything's for the team. And that's probably the biggest piece there. The egos are aside. That's another piece with this group that, when they were getting offers or going through the recruiting process, they were just so proud and happy for each other. And they've continued that. So It's not really difficult to have that leadership base because I think everyone respects the kids that work really hard. And so whether you're a freshman, you're a sophomore, if you're willing to grind and you're willing to put in the time with these guys, then there's just a mutual respect level there. And that allows you to lead at points, right? It allows you to say things or call someone out or hold someone to task because you've done it, right? And they've worked hard for that.
That's great. Well, we at TESPN will certainly be here streaming all 4 of the regular season home games, and if we're fortunate enough to have anything beyond that, we'll be here too. So best of luck, Coach. Can't wait to see this team this season.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Really excited to be joined here by 2 senior football players and future college football players in Cam Fleming and Mario Thompson. Cam, first question, now that the recruiting process is behind you, you know you're going to be a Hokie. I'm not going to say anything about that as a UVA guy, but I'm excited for you, and you're getting a great one up there in Blacksburg. But now that's behind you, you turn the focus to the season, and just what is your focus? And same question to you, Rio.
I feel like our focus as a team is just taking one game at a time. You know, mentally, that's what we've been preaching all season and preseason. Just taking it game by game, because you know everybody knows that we're kind of a 100 team right now. Everybody wants to beat us, so it's going to be mental throughout the whole season. So if we take it game by game and just mentally be prepared for each game and not take every game as like it's going to be a easy game, then we'll be fine.
Yeah, to piggyback off him, off of the recruiting and it's all done and I made my decision, I can just do whatever the team needs for us to win.
Yeah, and also want to mention Rio going to ODU, going to crush it down there in Norfolk. And then next thing is just obviously a lot of guys coming back from an incredibly successful team, but there's also some new guys who I'm sure y'all are excited about. How do you all, as guys who are pillars of this program, who've been here for 4 and 5 years, instill the values to any new players? Like, how do you try and school them?
Usually when new guys come in, they kind of they're looking for how the team is. So I feel like they kind of see that at practice, just how we practice and how we are in the locker room, and they kind of feed off that. And yeah.
I feel like leading by example, going first, telling them what to do and doing it right before they go, give them more confidence while we're seniors and we're bigger and we know what we're doing, will help them in the long run.
All right, I want to do a few really quick questions, quick answers, a little lightning around here. What's your favorite pregame meal?
I actually don't eat food for the game, but if I had to choose, probably like a granola bar or something like that.
Yeah. Mine would be eggs. I eat eggs for every game.
A favorite football player?
Deion Sanders.
Saquon Barkley.
If you could live anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, where's your dream place to live?
Bora
Florida.
Favorite NFL team?
Washington Commanders.
New York Giants.
And both of you guys were good JV basketball players. In fact, a few years ago, one-on-one, who's winning, you or Rio?
Plenty of times it's been me, so he knows the answer to that.
I won't speak on that because I can dunk now.
All right, you have your answer. Cam would win one-on-one. Thanks for joining us, guys. Best of luck this season. Can't wait to watch y'all play.